November of 2001, President Bush issues what's called Military Order Number 1. And that was, I remember having a reaction in this room with my office. We were stunned. Here, all of a sudden, it's 2 months after 9/11, and he's essentially taking over the country from a military standpoint. He's saying, I have the right to detain any non-citizen anywhere in the world.
Without evidence.
Without evidence, and they get no hearings, and I can put them in front of military commissions if I want.
Is this unprecedented in our history? I mean, we had the Alien and Seditions Act, but I mean, is this, you know, Lincoln suspended the writ of habeas corpus,
right.
and McKinley also.
There's some, you know, there's some history to treating non-citizens.
But it's pretty shocking that it's happening today.
Because we figured after the Japanese internment camps that the country would have learned a lesson. This is 60 years later. Plus, it's 60 years later where there's been a huge evolution in human rights law. There's Geneva Conventions, there's all kinds of things about arbitrary detention. You can't just put people in jail, you have to give them a hearing. There's all kinds of stuff.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. Guantanamo Bay is a major focus of your work right now, isn't it?
Oh, Guantanamo Bay is, we started with these few cases. You'd ask me how many cases. I started with David Hicks, January 2002.
All right.
No one in the legal community, political community, joined us at all. We added to him Habib, Australian, and then we added the Tipton people from England and some others. And now, some of those people have been released, but it's interesting, well, some of the English have been released.
A Canadian as well.
Right, a Canadian, some others. The Pakistanis have put a lot of pressure to get their people out.
Right.
Pakistan had a mission there almost a year ago, August, 2 years ago, August, in which it said of the 58 Pakistanis, we think 53 had nothing to do with anything.
At all.
Nothing. And now, they're finally going to get some of those released. We probably represent, with other law firms now, who finally, big law firms have joined us to represent people, over 100 Muslim people in Guantanamo right now.
You're representing.
But our contact with them, of course,
is limited. Almost non-existent.
We represent their families. In fact, we sent a mission. One of my lawyers went to Qatar recently to organize Middle East clients. We went to Bahrain.
Do you have any Saudi do you represent any Saudi clients?
Here's the situation with the Saudis is there's 100 and some Saudis, and there's a law firm here that we're starting to work with that we're going to probably be filing on behalf of the Saudis, but that has not happened yet. They're all really. There's a law firm that I think is possibly a Saudi Arabian law firm that is.
Mike, can I ask you, what's driving you?
Well, I think two things are driving me. One is I think when I saw this unfold. And I saw the administration not even being Republican or Democrat, but being something else and challenging really the fundamental aspects of what I consider to be bottom line bedrock laws, the idea particularly of executive detention, that the executive or the king or the president can simply designate whoever he wants. Right. I went back to before the Magna Carta, which is our founding document from an English-American tradition, and I went back to the Inquisitions. And not only Inquisitions in terms of who they picked up, but in terms of the techniques then that were applied to people. So that's one thing that's driving me. But interesting, when I saw the play last night, I realized, and I knew this anyway, but the other thing that drives me was, well, there are two other factors. One is a parent's love for his or her child. And I've met a lot of the Muslim fathers here, and the mothers, and I see, I mean, they're just broken people from this. This is not even a regular going to trial in a prison. This is 2.5 years of some of them not knowing anything. Never hear, I mean,
it's like torture.
Azmat Beg has not heard from his son in almost a year.
It's emotional torture, basically.
And so to see, and I have children, and I identify that with that tremendously. And I identify with people also being in a total dead-end situation. I mean, this is not a regular prison we're talking about. This is the place where these people have no idea if they're ever getting out, where they get arbitrarily put in isolation. And I've always had a huge sympathy for the underdog. I mean, that's the other thing, and for government oppression. I've just been angered by government oppression. I mean, probably from my family and
there's an interesting verse in the Quran that says, "لولا دفع الله الناس بعضهم ببعض لفسدت الأرض." Had it not been for some people defending other peoples, there would be nothing but corruption in the earth. And it's there's that balance constantly. You've got the wrongs, but then you've got those people that are, something inside of them is inspiring them to redress the wrongs. And it seems, I mean, I feel very fortunate to have people like you. That's why we wanted to come here and visit you, because in essence, I mean, you're really you know, you're in an unpopular position because I think some people, maybe a considerable number in this country, say, you know, this guy, why is he defending these terrorists, or why is he defending these, you know, these people? And
the amount of hate mail we got in the beginning, and I still got a couple letters the other day, but
right.
was extraordinary. I mean, why don't you go guard the people in Guantanamo and let them kill you? Invite the Taliban to your house and let them
Right.
eat your children. I mean, stuff that was so, I mean,
Ignorant.
I mean, yeah, ignorant, exactly. And
But I'm sure there was a lot of support as well.
in the beginning, there was almost none.
None.
And in this country, I mean, really almost none for the first, I mean, you understand, it wasn't just these cases, it was the whole country. I mean, if you said
Right.
anything to say, well, why did 9/11 happen? If you even said, maybe we ought to look at who we are and what the
What
world
we're
is
doing.
like.
Yeah.
It was a kill out there. I mean, you
Right.
just
You couldn't say that.
put your head
Yeah.
above water.
Well, even poor Richard Gere, when he tried to give a little Buddhist message of forgiveness and love at
Right.
the concert in New York, he was booed off the stage. Very popular actor.
So really tough stuff here.